Hello, Muhammad. I received your messages. Oh, I'm looking here. Yes. So I received your messages and just let me respond to them. Yes. So the first question is, tell me about a bug you personally fixed recently. What was actually broken? How did you notice it was? And what ended up being the real cause? Okay, so I was recently been working on a project which is automation based project, as now the age of AI agents is there. So I have to build some AI agents, and for that I need to scrap values and information from a government website, sem.gov. I hope you have heard about that. So in that I found something tricky, that basically when I try to scrap some products or services information by their NAICS codes or by putting the keywords in the search values, okay, so there I got something that the URL gets broken, and sometimes the requests gets timed out. Like, for example, if I just want to scrap 10 values, 10 products or 10 services, 8 or 9 are successful and just 1 or 2 got bugged out. So that was something that was really nasty for me, because my client wants all of them, okay, and for that I thought that it might be maybe an issue of encoding with the requests library, but the real cause was something deeper and some like tricky thing for me. And I was also using the URL library parse code method, okay, and which doesn't really handle the encoded URLs. So the fix was basically to switch from the parse code URL safe to uh, encoded characters and adding validations to detect encoding state, okay. So that was something that I personally fixed recently. And the second question is, if something works locally but fails randomly in productions, what are the first 2-3 things that you check, and why in that order? Okay, so that basically happens when, as a full stack developer, we work on a product, then test it local with Postman, the APIs on Postman, and the front end on localhost, okay. And then when we get it to the production, that things may happen, okay. So first of all, we need to check. I'll check the logs, how the logs are behaving, and what are they showing to me. Either it's Docker based or just a Ubicon or like that applications, okay. And once I check the logs, then I'll check that the environment variables are and configurations are perfectly fine, if there is any issue or not, because I think most times those things may trouble with each other when trying to SCP or using the GitHub to pull and push. That may cause something troubles. And what else? It may be also because different configurations and database connections and API keys, okay. And the third thing is that, okay, the third thing is I'll check the concurrency, okay. Locally, when we are testing with one users, but production has concurrent requests, okay. So that's where the shared state or non-atomic operations to be assumed about execution order. I'm looking nice here. Okay, and briefly share a piece of code you're proud of and explain why you wrote it that way. Well, it's on my GitHub, and let me just go to my personal repo. Yes, so this is the agent that I built on. Okay, and it really get me to like proud of myself to extract the values from the files, from the solicitations attachments. Okay, and then reading the PDFs, reading PDF numbers, and also by merge PDF. Okay, for better layout, and extracting the key values that would be really helpful for me to write the proposals for the asking for the vendors to for bidding requests. Okay, and the sorry, I missed a question. Explain asynchronization code as if you are explaining it to a non-technical founder. Okay, so answer of this question is asynchronization code is basically that a state where a person or a specific unit can't remain idle at all. He must have to be working on all aspects. I mean, he can't be on idle state. Okay, and he will be continuously working from one state to another, to third to fourth. For example, in kitchen, my mamas do. So my mom basically she put up her dish on cylinder, burn the flame. Okay, and then she rushed to another task for preparing for making the breads. Okay, and meanwhile chopping the onions and other vegetables to get it ready for the dish, and also looking for tea on the second hand. So that is a type of asynchronization code that a person can't remain idle, or a state or a agent or a specific code base can't remain idle. It should be working on one state to another, to fourth and fifth, and that's so on. And the question number 5 is, you have a Python service that processes events asynchronously. Sometimes the same event is processed twice. Sometimes it's missed completely. You are not allowed to add a database transaction or external log right now. How would you design the logic to make this system safe enough in short term? Okay, talk through what assumptions you're making, what guarantee you can and cannot provide, what trade-offs you accept, how do you detect if it's failing in production. Well, that would take some time for me to think of the questions to be answers. Okay, so it basically system design problem when designing the system. Okay, so for example, for a asynchronization event processing safety, okay, to design the logic for duplicate missed events and without database transactions or logs. So assumptions that I'm making is events have unique IDs, for example, transaction ID or event ID or message IDs. Okay, and we have access to Redis or similar key value stores. That would be really helpful for us. And events can be redelivered, at least one delivery, uh, using loop or finding the transactions state. Okay, and also assuming that the network is unreliable but eventually consistent. Okay, and the short-term design solution may be like to itemize the keys in Redis. Okay, like we define two functions. Is there is anything processed? If so, we get the values in boolean, it's a true or false. Okay, and returning it true. And also getting the event id or mark id in another function, that would be like if that is processed or not. Okay, and that's thing, I think that would be then. And what assumptions that, okay, and what guarantees you can and cannot provide. I can guarantee from this method is that there will be no duplicate processing within log timeout. Okay, and uh, automatic cleanup of old tracking data. That's number 2. And what I cannot guarantee is that 100% guarantee against duplicates, because if Redis fails, then the whole operation fails. And also the strict ordering of event processing is not guaranteed in this for myself. And how to detect if it's failing, in what trades off you accept. I'll accept that Redis dependency. If Redis goes down, the protection fails. But and vulnerability window, 5-minute lock timeout means if workers crashes or even event is stuck in for 5 minutes. Okay, and also the memory cost. And the last question is, how do you detect if it's failing in production? Well, detection strategy would be like daily reconciliations of job, comparing event IDs in source system versus the processed IDs in Redis. Okay, and monitoring the gap between them. And yes, I think those are the answers to your questions from my end. And I hope I cleared these questions quite good. And thank you for considering me for initial proposals scrutiny, and I'll hope we can have another meet and talk to you soon. Thank you. I'm sharing this video with you just to